Welcome to Why 5% Succeed. This is the show where you discover how 5% of businesses really have it all. Great clients, incredibly fulfilling and rewarding work, record compensation, and you can have those things too. You know that if you can see it, you can be it. And that's why with this show, we're sharing hands-on tactics, techniques, tools, and tips from people who've been there and done that. Right? They've been in your shoes, they've experienced incredible success, and they're really good at helping other people just like you experience great success. Well, it's time to further your success right now. I'm your host, Elaine Starling. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer for Starling Media Services. We have a boutique marketing firm that helps purpose-driven women entrepreneurs become true legacy leaders. I have an incredible passion for helping people succeed, and that's why I wrote my book, Why 5% Succeed. That's why I do this show. I want to make sure you can discover that all the information, all the tools, all the resources you need to transform your business, they're all there. They're really easy for you to access whenever you're ready for them. Well, I have a huge treat for you today. I'm so excited to introduce today's guest. She's the head affiliate manager at Simply the Coolest joint venture agency. Fabulous company. This company is pretty powerful. They manage over 1 million subscribers. They've got this huge network of clients and partners that they match up, and Emily's in charge. She's got some really great insights to share with us because she understands your passion for helping others and really making a difference. And she's able to help you create those affiliate relationships that increase profits. So, Emily, I'm so excited to have you with us today.
Thanks, Elaine. It's great to be here. I'm really looking forward to sharing about what I do and hopefully helping all of you do it too.
Well, I've got a ton of questions for you, Emily, so I want to really just jump in and get started. Could you tell us a little bit about your company, Simply the Coolest, and what it is you do? Because I'd love to make sure our viewers understand what we're talking about when it comes to affiliate management and affiliate marketing.
Absolutely. So we have a list of clients who have brought us on to their teams to essentially manage their affiliate relationships. Now, affiliates are going to be individuals who have their own email subscriber list, who are interested in promoting products to the individuals on their list that they would be interested in. So
that summarizes it pretty well. So I think it's really important to understand that businesses around the globe have been doing this for centuries, really. They have. It's things like reseller programs. So all the big high-tech companies, not only do they sell their products, they also have partners who sell their products in and get a percentage. And of course, network marketing has been around forever. These models have existed for a long, long time, and they're really proven, and they're incredibly effective. And I know this wasn't the question I originally had for you, but Emily, could you explain why you think affiliate relationships are so powerful?
Absolutely. So for us, it's all about the affiliate. At the end of the day, the affiliate is who you're trying to make happy because they've created essentially their own tribe of people who trust them, who follow them, and who really believe in the message that they're putting out there, whether it's about health, fitness, wealth, whatever, really speaks to these people. That's what we're putting out there. And so we want to support them in their message and make sure that they're getting their subscribers what they need and what they want.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I want to move down into some of the more nitty-gritty stuff because I think there's a different way of thinking about your business, especially when you're trying to get into that mindset for these partners. So could you talk a little bit about what those affiliate partners might be looking for and maybe what you're looking for in terms of somebody that you could really represent and help them grow their business with affiliate relationships?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, all of our clients have online products that they've either developed personally or developed in conjunction with someone else, which is the message that they're trying to get out to the world. And so we really need for you to have a product first for us to represent you at all. Otherwise, we've got nothing to bring to other people. In addition to that, we really want to see proven numbers and conversion showing that your product converts. It's great to have testimonials, people who also have bought your product, who really believe in what you're doing and are willing to speak on your behalf about your product, as well as copy that effectively communicates what your product is to people who may or may not be interested in buying it.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm just going to summarize what I just heard because I don't want to leave anything out. They have to have a product. They have to show that it converts. They are able to sell it, make sales off their product. They've got testimonials from people who have purchased and used their online product, and they have proven copy. So they've got the marketing materials written, and they've been able to show that it really is effective at getting people interested in purchasing the product. Did I leave anything out?
Nope. That was a great recap.
I'm taking notes. I want you to know. I'm writing things down while you're talking. I want to make sure I catch it all. This is really important. People who really want to grow their business quickly, you're not an island. You can't do this by yourself. You really need to find partners and create those mutually beneficial relationships where they promote you and you promote them, and it really makes a difference. So,
absolutely.
I want you to explain a little bit about why working with you to manage those affiliate relationships is really important to your client. And I know I'm kind of setting you up here because anybody who has tried to run their own business, handle all their employees, do all this stuff, and keep on top of affiliates already kind of knows the answer. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And I think often what I hear time and time again from our clients is that their affiliate relationships are the most important part of their business, but perhaps not what really drives their business. So, they have to be out there creating their product, improving their product. Eventually you have to make improvements as time goes on so that people continue to be interested in it and want to buy it. But what really helps sell your product is obviously your affiliates and the relationships that you have with those. They're the most important relationships. And that's why we're hired, is so that we can manage those relationships that you frequently talk about, how they're so important to you, and that you ultimately, there just aren't enough hours in the day. There aren't even enough hours in the day sometimes for me to talk to all of our affiliates. But that's why people do it, is because they know it's such an important relationship, and they know that really those relationships are going to be what makes or breaks their business.
Yeah, I know. I totally hear what you're saying, because relationships are all about creating that rewarding experience, that connection with somebody else. And that requires some face time. That requires picking up the phone and time spent connecting with people, having those conversations, finding out what's going on with them, seeing what you can do to support them. And it's hard to the kind of time that's really necessary to build those lasting relationships. So I can totally understand how working with a company like yours that has proven processes, proven successes, you're a known entity to a lot of the big folks out there. So if you've already vetted somebody, there's a confidence level that comes along with that, I would think. What are some of the other benefits that your clients see because they work with you? They get to have a different experience than trying to do this on their own.
Right. So I like to think that most of the time their stress level, at the very least, has gone down just a little bit. Not having to just juggle all those worlds. But in addition to that, they get to engage with their affiliates on really a different level. So a lot of times, we are the forefront, at least on the affiliate relationship side. So it's really cool for, affiliates because they do have a personal relationship with a lot of our clients. And I think it, in a lot of ways, becomes even more special when they do interact directly. Because it's obvious that they're passionate about what they're bringing to the table. And there are times when our clients cut us out. They're like, no, our affiliates are really important. I want to deliver this message to them personally. And they just cut me out of the equation because they have something that they're really passionate about and they want to bring to the table. And they want it heard in their own voice. So I think it kind of makes it almost multidimensional in a way.
That's so cool. That's so cool, because part of what I hear you're doing is you're kind of positioning the folks that you work with at sort of a celebrity level. So honestly,
no, they are.
and in fact, you are, because then there's a proven concept, right? They're working with you, so they had to pass certain hurdles. They had to meet certain criteria. So there's kind of a known level of acceptance and credibility going in. And if they're not the ones who are typically the face having that one-on-one conversation, then when they do, all of a sudden it's something special.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I totally get how that can be a really huge opportunity for someone who's got a product. They're trying to make a difference. They're trying to create these relationships with affiliates. Time is precious. Time is the most expensive commodity you have.
Yes.
So when you can partner with people who get it, who already have the relationships, have the processes, and can position you at that level, and then open the doors, and when you are able to be physically there or video there, it makes a much bigger impact. I think that's so powerful. Now, we were talking a little bit before we started the interview about some folks you've been working with who've had some pretty spectacular success. Could you share that story with our viewers, please?
Absolutely. So we have a particular client who several years ago was working on one of those ships like you see out in Alaska, like that's featured on The Deadliest Catch, which, yes, from the stories he shares is quite a dangerous line of work, which is ultimately why he decided to get out of it. And then, which I believe was around the time he had kids. I may or may not be mistaken on that. But then he decided to get into to start his own carpet cleaning business, much safer, I would like to think. And then from there, he ended up creating his own product called the Automatic Income Coach, where he now helps essentially train people into how to have their own business and become wealthy in their own right. And he does several $1 million a year now. He's very, very successful and hands down one of the nicest people I know.
Wow. That's pretty spectacular. To go from such a dangerous hands-on kind of job and then to be able to move into something where it's more of a traditional brick and mortar job. But in order to really serve as many people as possible, it requires having that virtual product, creating that bit of intellectual property that can go way beyond you. And the beautiful thing is you're not just impacting people near where you live, you're impacting people around the globe. And that's powerful. That's really, really cool when you can make that big a difference. And
Absolutely.
How cool to be a part of that solution. That's gotta rock to know that you're making that kind of difference.
Yes. And he is very passionate about it and excellent at what he does. So
that makes a big difference too. Absolutely. So I know there are certain messages that you need to communicate with your partners in order for them to be interested in creating that partnership. Could you tell us a little bit about what are some of those things that joint venture partners, affiliate partners are looking for, and why are those so important?
Absolutely. So really the most important things we see are proven conversions. So you've tested your product out before you want to release it into the marketplace, either through an internal launch or just with some testing, either with, you can launch a product on either ClickBank or JVZoo and just see how it does. Or if you have some partners that you're close with who are willing to just send you what we call test traffic to see how the offer performs. So then we can go back out to people who may or may not know you as well, but it's hard to argue with facts. And, I can bring to them, well, look how well this product is converting. Why wouldn't you want to promote it? Your audience already loves this message. So I would say that's probably the most important thing. Other than that, testimonials is also great. Just being able to hear people who've had firsthand experience with the product that you've developed or the coaching sessions that they've been to with you, and just seeing the authenticity in them and how passionate they are about what you do. is also really powerful.
Is there any kind of a rule of thumb that you look for that says, if it's below this level, if it's above this, woohoo, we've got a winner? Is there some kind of a ratio that you're looking for?
So like you said, definitely different numbers for different industries. Also, the price of the product is going to play a really big part into that. Cause, whether it's a $15 product or a $1,500 product is going to change that EPC number pretty substantially just because of the markets that you're working with. Rule of thumb, anything over $5 EPC, that is fantastic. That should be really pretty easy for me to get. Assuming that it's a good market to message match, it should be pretty easy for me to get someone to promote a product that has over a $5 EPC. But even as low as a $1 EPC, you're usually seeing pretty good conversion rates, particularly if it's a lower end product and stuff like that. If it's a lower end product, a $1 conversion rate is actually very, very good.
Okay, good. Sorry, I'm writing as you're talking. So these are really good pieces of information to know. And I realized we didn't back up and really explain what we're talking about when it comes to conversions. So it starts with, you've got a broad audience. Hopefully you have your own email list. You may be buying Facebook ads. You may be buying newsletter ads. There's all kinds of things you can do to get in front of potential folks who would be interested in your product. Now, from there, a certain number of them will opt in so that you're growing your list, and a smaller number of them will actually purchase the product. And we're interested in the number of people who opted into purchases, right? That's the EPC. So it's earnings per click is what you're talking about?
Yes, EPC, earnings per click. So that is going to be essentially what you just described, the difference between those two numbers. So the first one is everyone who's opted in. So say you send a mass email to your entire list, and then, there's a link in the email for them to click to find out more about the offer. So they can click on that link. They can opt in if they get there and decide that it's something they'd be willing to hear more about. And then after they've opted in, if they end up buying the product, that's where you come up with that EPC number. So essentially how much you earned based upon how many people potentially click to buy.
So it's not even just how many people purchased. It's how many people clicked. Excellent.
So that's how you come up with it.
Okay, great. I think that's a very important distinction, because so often people think, oh, well, I got to be able to show that I can sell this to, 10,000 people. Well, if you can sell to 10,000 people off the bat, good for you.
Well, and that's the big thing. That's a distinction that we like to make. So a lot of times in this business, people will be like, oh, well, how many clicks can you send? Well, I don't want clicks. I want buyers. So if you can send 10,000 clicks, but only 100 people buy, that's a terrible EPC. But if you can send 100 clicks and 100 people buy, that's an amazing EPC. And obviously the bigger the pool, the more significant that number is going to be. So if I send it to a list of 100,000 versus a list of 10,000, the list with 100,000 is going to be a more authentic view of how well the offer really performs.
So do you recommend that people promote their affiliate offers to folks? Do you think that's a good strategy, that people actually find a way to make sure that the fact that they have an affiliate program is prominent on their website, that they send it out to clients that are really happy with the product and encourage them to become affiliates? Are those kinds of things a good idea?
So is it important to encourage people to become affiliates? Is that what you're asking, if that's a good idea? Yeah, absolutely. So essentially when when you're an affiliate, you've created a tribe behind you of people who believe in the message that you're delivering, and trust your judgment. So the people in our industry, for the most part, are very serious about what they do and very selective about the message that they're willing to send their audience. So, for instance, I have clients who work in the health industry who are not sending their clients offers on love because they don't want to hear about love. They want to know how to get skinny or get tone or whatever the case may be. So the message that you're delivering to your audience is very, very important, which is why the affiliate game, we call it, is so, exciting and fun and great because there's a different niche for everyone. And so you just have to make sure that you find yourself in the right niche and in the right market.
Excellent. I really like hearing that there's opportunity for every single industry, that everybody has an opportunity to leverage affiliate relationships.
Absolutely.
And it's really a matter of finding that message that resonates with your audience. Mm-hmm. So what's the outcome that they're most excited about? They're not interested in love. They want to get skinny. Let's be clear. Don't waste my time with the love stuff, okay? So I have to ask you another question because I know when you've got a product launch, you're super busy and all of a sudden it's almost D-Day and you're running around trying to just launch this puppy. Mm-hmm. How long does it take to put together an effective affiliate campaign?
Well, that is a loaded question.
I know.
So I would say that certainly depends on a lot of different things. The most immediate thing that comes to mind is how recognizable you are in the marketplace. So obviously if if you've been in the game for 20 years, you constantly produce these awesome products, I am not going to be happy, but you could come to me in 6 weeks and say, hey, in 6 weeks, I want to do a launch and my blood pressure is going to go through the roof, but we're going to work on it and we're going to make it happen. I would say more often than not for the average person or someone who's new to the game and maybe doesn't have as much of a name recognition in the business or hasn't come up with, this is your first product you've ever come out with, we really prefer 4 to 6 months just to kind of, because we want to be able to go to affiliates who haven't heard your name before and say, hey, it doesn't matter that you haven't heard this person's name. Look at these EPCs, look at how well this offer is, converting, and why wouldn't you want to promote it? It's right in line with the message that you send to your audience. And then 4 to 6 months really gives you time to work through all the funnels and make sure that all the mechanics are working properly, make sure that copy is written, that copy can be tweaked, that your affiliate platform, whether it's Infusionsoft, ClickBank, whatever the case may be, is working and that those messages are being delivered to your affiliates so that they have what they need when it does come time to promote you. So yeah, I would say on average 4 to 6 months.
I was expecting a little longer, actually. I really was. Because if you're new, and part of it, I guess, for me is testing and refining your funnel. Mm-hmm. So do you help your clients test and refine their funnel? Do you do the funnel, or you're separate from the funnel, you're just giving them feedback on this needs to improve, go make it happen?
Oh. I am separate from the funnel. You do not want to talk to me about funnel building. I don't want to know about upsells and downsells. That is not my area of expertise by any stretch of the imagination. But so I guess that would dial it back. So if you haven't either finished your funnel or tested your funnel or anything like that, I would really say you're more looking at 9 to 12 months just to get all of those kinks worked out, particularly depending on how long you want your funnel to be, because they can be quite long. So that is probably more on like the 9 to 12 month range. When I was saying 4 to 6, I'm thinking a product that is really finalized for the most part. You maybe need to do some minor tweaking here and there, working out some technical logistics. But yeah, if you're still working on your funnel and things like that, 9 to 12 months for sure.
Okay, excellent. So, I know there's marketing materials that affiliates like to have. Could you give us kind of a summary of what some of those materials are that we should prepare and have ready to go so that it's super easy for an affiliate to promote the product?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the most important thing is probably going to be swipe copy. So your emails that you've pre-written, obviously people who have a really strong relationship with their affiliate audience are still going to go back in and edit the copy that you produce so that it sounds like it's actually coming from them and so that it's more geared towards what their audience is looking for. I would say that's the most important material. If you're only going to have one, that's the one to have. But then other than that, social media has also stepped its game up a lot. So having blog posts, Facebook posts, tweets, Instagram pictures. I mean, just any app that you can think of that you could promote something on. Probably some marketing material for that would be ideal. Also, recipes are really good.
Assuming that it's a food product or a weight loss product, I can see how recipes would make a lot of sense. One of the other things that I've noticed is that often when I see an affiliate opportunity, they'll have banners or they'll have buttons. And the banners and buttons and other images are really useful because you can also share those on social media. So I know you're talking about swipe copy, especially for emails. You mentioned like pre-written blog articles, Facebook posts, tweets, Instagram pictures. You started to say recipes are really powerful. What kinds of sizes of images are people looking for?
For recipes specifically, or?
No, for anything.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know.
Sorry, I changed subjects on you. Come on.
Yeah, so image sizes, it really is just going to depend on what they need it for. So some people are going to do, banners for their websites, and those are obviously going to need to be much larger than if you're just posting a small photo in an article or something like that. So I would say it really depends. But most of those things are pretty easy to tweak, and particularly if you're working with an experienced affiliate, they can usually tweak them themselves too. So.
Well, I have another question for you, and it has to do with videos and webinars. Because one of the other things that I'm seeing is if you're willing to do videos ahead of time and videos as a part of the launch, that's really popular, making that available to your affiliates. And then also, if you're willing to do a webinar where your affiliate is the host and you're doing all the work, but you're trying to make them look good and be a great guest and all that, is that a really popular strategy? Have you found that to be very effective?
Yes. Particularly when it's someone, it could go either way, honestly. So if it's someone with a really big name and you can get them on a video, that's always really exciting. People are always really intrigued to hear what they have to say and what they can contribute. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, it's also, just from an exposure standpoint, great for people who are just starting out. So to get your name out there, whether it's on podcasts, interviews, whatever the case may be, just, that exposure about who you are, what you're about, what your product is, and how you're contributing to the marketplace. Those are all, it's all really, really effective.
Excellent. Boy, you're just on it. You're giving me so many great insights into this industry because it's a very specific industry and it's challenging. If you're looking from the outside, it sounds, you just create relationships, right? Oh, there's all kinds of details you have to cover. So you've been incredibly successful. You've got some amazing case studies. What kinds of things are you doing to promote your clients' results so that others see the potential for themselves? So
I would say probably what we do the most often is just stay in contact with people in the community. I obviously work for an affiliate management agency, but we're just one of many, so we have relationships with several other people who work in their own affiliate management agencies. There are a lot of partners that have their own in-house affiliate managers that we work with as well, and just staying in touch with people in the community. And it really is more like a group of family or friends in the sense that, we're wishing people a happy birthday and just staying in touch with people constantly. But really sharing, continuing to share each other's message. And, I think one of my favorite things about this industry is that everyone really does want to help each other. It's not, we're not crawling over each other to get to the top or anything like that. So if I find something that, another affiliate manager passed along to me and it doesn't have to do with one of my clients, but it also doesn't work for one of my clients, I'm more than happy to pass it along to someone else. I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't work for any of mine, but this person, person over here would love it, and so it's great just to kind of keep people in the loop and just an open line of communication, just constantly talking about, what new products they're coming out with, keeping people informed and excited about upcoming launches. follow up.
So what are some of your favorite tools for follow-up? Because that can take the most time. It can be really arduous. Is there anything that you'd recommend?
Absolutely. Hands down, my favorite app, it's a Google app. It's called Boomerang. You download it. I think it's, you get 10 for free a month, but I do way more than that. But I think it's only a couple dollars a month for unlimited after that. But it sets it up in your email inbox where messages will get boomeranged back to you. And so you can set it for 2 days, 2 months, 2 years. That would be crazy. But, but it's great because a lot of times I have, the one thing about affiliate management is you really teeter on this border of, staying in contact and keeping people informed and harassment. And it is a very thin line. And so I don't like to harass people. No one likes to be harassed, but it's great to just kind of, know that I can boomerang something and be like, and I sit there and sometimes I'm like, man, should I boomerang this for 2 days or 4 days? Like, I don't want to feel like this person, like I'm not giving them enough space to breathe. But yes, follow up is the biggest part of what we do, and just keeping up with all those different conversations, like you said, can be quite taxing on occasion. So that is the app that I would recommend if I had to pick one. That's my favorite.
Oh, that's awesome. I have heard of Boomerang. I haven't been using it. So yeah, that's a really cool tool. I'll have to check that out. Well, I have the hardest question of all for you, and this is the one everybody hates the most. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think I should have asked you that you would like to share with our audience? These are people who probably aren't doing affiliate relationships right now, and they, for better or worse, aren't aware of just how much is involved to try and keep these relationships going. Is there anything, a word of advice that you could offer, or any other information?
Yeah. So what immediately comes to mind for me is probably just start small. I can totally see how everything that I just said would be overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me to think about sometimes, and it's what I do for a living. And I think it's just important to start small and to have a really direct message, to know what you want to communicate to your audience. And, the bottom line being that we, at one point or another, everyone in our industry started at the bottom, and the majority of the people in the industry still remember that they started at the bottom. And so people are really helpful, and we get, hey, you only have 500 affiliates, and there was a time I only had 500 affiliates and now I have 500,000, and that's just how it works. And I would say just not to get discouraged, and essentially, just to figure out what you want your message to be and to deliver it.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that, because I think that's so important to start small. The other thing that I always tell my clients, and I want to make sure everybody hears here, make sure you're able. Now, when I say ABLE, it's an acronym. That's ABYL. Always build your list. Always be building your list. Always, always, always. Because even if you don't have a product right now, if you ever want to have a product, if you ever want to be an affiliate, if you ever want to have options, if you want to go from deadliest catch to a multi-million-dollar product, build that list. Always be building your list. It's so important. Emily, fabulous interview. Wow, you really rocked it. Thank you so much for showing up and being a part of this today. I really, really appreciate it. And to everyone out there, thank you for being here and for joining us. I can't wait to see you next time. Take care.